we do with our subject matter experts is it represents the 5 domains, and then it's based on importance, criticality, and frequency. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Importance is competence in a domain essential for minimal competent certified athletic trainer. Okay, so when we're trying to figure out what questions are going on this BOC exam, each item, each question has to meet these 3 things. Criticality: can adverse effects result in a certified athletic trainer is not competent in a domain? And frequency: what percentage of time does a certified athletic trainer spend performing these duties associated with the performance domain? All right, now we're going to do our breakout session. So what we would like you to do, we're going to break you out into clusters of 6 to 10, and we're going to have you construct some exam questions. Okay? We want you to do a recall question, an analysis, and an application. And with that, include the question, your correct answer, and 4 distractors or your incorrect. So I don't want you to do it in, let's get into like groups of 6. You could probably just mingle around. If you want to move your chairs, that's fine. We got plenty of time. But construct 3 questions. What's a recall question? Fact.
Multiple guess.
Facts. Multiple guess. Where's the insertion of the long head bicep? What is an analysis
question.
type question? Hey, got it. Yes. What's an analysis type question?
Signs and symptoms and diagnosis.
Okay, maybe signs and symptoms. What are you going to do with this information? How are you going to analyze this information? And then application, what's that?
Like triage.
Triage?
You give them the information, you have to pick the injury that's more likely that it is.
Correct. Correct. Okay. And one of the things that we're talking about when we look at recall analysis and application is that, I don't know about you all, but I'll ask those real quick questions and then I'll do a scenario because I want to see their critical thinking, and then it's 10 o'clock at night and I go, why did I ask that scenario after page 15, right? Yeah, the other one. Yes, okay. One of the things that this whole exercise is about is that this is what the multiple choice questions that your students are going to see. And so it needs to be reflective on your exams as you're teaching that you are putting on recall analysis and application questions so that they get used to actually taking these types of exams. So continue on, and then I'm going to give you a cheat sheet in a few minutes. So keep going. So I want you to look at your questions and stay in your groups here and ask yourself these questions. Was your question entry level? Was it clear and concise? Is it written in a question form? Is it in third person? Okay, so it's not what you would do. What would the athletic trainer do? The stem or the question is stated in a positive manner. Distractors are clearly wrong, but plausible. So I think we had one ACL that was up in the neck or elbow. It's double referenced, and then be aware of state, local, regional differences. And that kind of answered some of the questions that were coming here. So take the next, real quick, 5 minutes. And these are adapted from the BOC Style Guide, which is on our website under the Program Director. And this is an incredible tool for you all. I just want you to know that. Now look at your questions and make sure that they meet these 8 criteria. How many of you in your initial questions used the word not? Yeah, I love those. How about all of the above, some of the above, none of the above? Who cares? Good. How about the word accept? Good. You guys are better than I think. Much better than I think. All right, let's look at some recall questions. This is an initial item that you would see According to Richard Ray, there are specific budget types used by athletic training facilities to project future incomes and track expenses. Which of the following budget type requires an athletic trainer to list anticipated expenditures for specific categories of a program functions, including equipment repair, insurance, and expendable items? Choose only one. Fixed line item, lump sum, performance, and zero-based. And just gave you the answer. It's highlighted there. What's wrong with that question? I don't even... Who's Richard Ray? Very, very, very wordy, okay? What else? I was just teasing. Don't tell him if he's in the hallway. I know who Richard Way is. Hope College. Okay, let's go. So revised question is, what budget type requires an athletic trainer, not you, okay, an athletic trainer, to list anticipated expenditures for specific categories of program functions? Choose only one. Same answer. But we will get this initial question, and before, when it goes through that whole year-long process of back and forth, for it to be put on as an experimental item, this is exactly what it will be toned down to, and this is that clear and concise STEM. Katie?
I have a question. So one of the things you're suggesting is that when we write test questions, to better prepare them for the exam, that we should use the third person. Would you?
I would strongly suggest that you use the third person, going back to this. And this style guide, as Bernadette told me to tell you one more time, is on boc.org. Go to the program director and go to the style guide. And it will give you not just these 8 things, but a great deal. The style guide is utilized by our item writers, our exam question writers. And we have certain things that we have to utilize, like standardized abbreviations. A manual muscle testing chart is on there. How we utilize the words athletic trainer. How questions are written. So each item writer goes through an orientation session, and we get this, because I was an item writer once, we get all of this as to how we can present our questions and what is acceptable terminology within the BOC. That's why I keep saying, get to that style guide. It's really, really informative tool from a program director, clinical educator perspective if you're writing exams.
I guess I'm wondering, because I want them to think about themselves as the athlete. I don't say them, I say you, because I want to put them on the spot.
Right.
And ask the question. So
why we do it in the third person is because we're writing the certification exam to go for everybody across state lines, and it has to be in conjunction with state practice textbooks, double reference. So when we say you, if I say, if you are choosing if I say you are trying to figure out the budget type, you're going to go, Indiana University. How do we do it at Indiana University? If I say an athletic trainer, it's in the third person. It encompasses all of us in this room. Does that make sense? That clear it up for you? Okay. Any questions about that? So this is the process, and this is, thanks to Chad Keinart, this is exactly what has happened. So I'll start with the answer. Section C of the budget shown below includes which type expenditures. Choose only one. And this is an analysis, so you're going to analyze this chart. So this is the first chart, and this is really kind of tough to figure out. But again, within the style guide gives us the accepted abbreviations that's being utilized by item writers, which you'll see on the exam. So can anybody pick out what might be wrong on here? If you haven't seen the style guide, it's kind of hard, but I'll look at it this way. So rub alcohol and 2 ACE wraps. ACE wrap is a brand name, exactly. And 10 cases and 8 pints. The abbreviations are different. I just want you to know 2 of my grad assistants wouldn't have passed the certification exam. They didn't pick out the 10 cases and 8 pints when I had it up on their screen. They're like, it's only 1 point. Well, 1 point's 1 point. You get that all the time, don't you? It's only 1 point. I only missed it by 1 point. All right, whatever. Okay. So analysis. You're analyzing the chart. You're looking at that. Okay. So use of abbreviations and trademarks is not utilized on our exam. Okay. Application. A patient presents to the athlete trainer with pain, moderate effusion, and instability of their left knee after experiencing an incident where they felt a pop while making a quick lateral movement about a planted foot. Which of the following conditions are most likely present? Choose only one. ACL, MCL, LCL, ATF, CF. Whew. No abbreviations, exactly. So the question is okay, but the distractors have to be. And again, those of you that are asking, choose all that apply. It's right there. All right. So link the distractors and are wrong but plausible, and you can't use abbreviations. Yes, sir.
How is that an application and not an analysis?
We've gone through this a couple times throughout the room. That's a good question. If we go back to analysis, it's using the information before us and coming up with the decision. Application is, Denise, help. Did I do that well? Did I do that well?
Depending upon the group of subject matters that it goes through, it could be classified as analysis or application. So if that appears in our item bank, it's not in the practice analysis that you have to have so many analysis and so many application. We're just trying to get out of the recall business and move things up a little bit. So it could be classified by the SMEs that are part of that group as analysis, and the next group that gets it says, oh, it's more of an application. And then it goes back and it's analysis. It's not one of the things that we track statistically because it doesn't have a weighting in it whether it gets on the exam or not. Right. That's going to matter when we look at discrimination, difficulty, and all the other stuff.
Frequency, et cetera. And I think it's more high order thinking if you think of it that way more than 1, 2, or 3.